makes most women start a business? Is it passion, money, or freedom? Welcome to Female Founders, the podcast that takes you behind the scene with women who are founders and CEOs to help you start and scale a successful business of your own. I am your host, Nagelia de Ravin. Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of Female Founders. In this episode, I will be having a conversation with Mary Zargarian. She is the CEO and principal consultant of Zargarian Consultant, with over 20 years of experience in corporate human resources. All right, good morning, Mary. Thank you for joining me today. It's a great pleasure to have this conversation with you. Can you tell us a little bit about your background and what led you to start Zargarian Consultant?
Yes. My background, I have over 20 years. I'm dating myself, but I have over 20 years of corporate human resources. I'm helping to partner with leaders across many different industries to be more effective leaders, to have their organizations and teams be more effective. And then I stepped away and started my own consulting practice full time. And I have not once ever looked back. It has been quite the ride and so well worth the experience.
But now you said that you have over 20 years of experience in the corporate world. So what were you doing in the corporate world before? I know you were doing leadership, but what to get you to that leadership path in the first place within the corporate world?
Well, in the corporate world, just a little bit of context, I grew up in a military family. So I grew up with the values of you do your job, you do it well, and you'll get rewarded for all of that hard work and effort. So I think I took some of that. Well, I know I took some of that mentality into the corporate space. I did my job. I did it really well. I was always innovating and thinking differently about how we approach problems that we were trying to solve. And that did get recognized over time. And so I gradually moved up into more of a leadership role. By the time I left, I was a director overseeing career and leadership development programs for a global company. And so it gave me enough experience to know, well, what works, what doesn't work, and how do we approach problems in the more creative way.
Right. So is that leadership thing was always within you? That's because of, would you say because of the military, you kind of like always like have that leadership kind of like even as a child? Because sometimes you can see a child or even a teenager, they always take the lead on anything within the family themselves, or mom always like, because mom see that leadership always like, hey, can you take care of this? Because they trust that kid, because that kid show that leadership skills within.
I can't say that there were early signs when I was younger. I'm the eldest of two. And so I don't know how much leadership I had over my younger brother. You might say a lot. But I actually was relatively quiet as a child and shied away from standing out from the crowd. And so I can't say that I saw early signs of leadership then, but gradually as I did more and more work in the corporate space, I recognized the value of effective leadership and what the downsides of an organization when you have leaders in place who don't know what they're doing, don't know how to influence, and don't know how to align teams to achieving. If anything, I see the leadership that I had early on as a child is in how to organize and how to find the best path forward to achieving whatever goal it is that I had my mind set on. So my leadership was more of a silent
So you are the smart kid that just sit in the in the back of the womb that have all the straight A's and then barely talk. Got it.
Yeah, I barely talked, but I was always the one that was looking at things like a puzzle and formulating ideas.
Yeah, but it's a good smart way though, because my grandpa used to say, if you actually be quiet, you can hear the world talking to you. You can hear everything that's passing through you. You can understand the world a lot better. But a lot of us as human, we don't take the time to do that because we talk a lot. Yes. We are always talking. So what you did was the opposite of that, which is be able to understand your surrounding, be able to listen to your surrounding and put the pieces together and understand what's going on while others don't understand it.
Yes. And recognizing too the importance of the human aspect in that equation. So many times we get so blinded and hyper focused on what it is we want to do or what we need to do. We forget that there's people around us that we need to bring along on that journey. So
Yes.
I was always watching, observing, and piecing it together.
So you are always a leader. You just never give yourself credit for it.
Yes. Thank you. Yes.
So now, can you tell us a little bit about Zargarian Consulting and what services you offer to small businesses and nonprofits?
Yes. So Zargarian Consulting has evolved a little bit over time, but where we are today feels so aligned with my background and experience. We focus on organizational effectiveness, and that's looking at systems, processes, people, culture, even, and trying to identify the opportunities we have to streamline it and make it more efficient, but also how do we be more effective with the talent and the tools that we have in place and we've invested in. So often, businesses, small businesses, even nonprofits, even though they have limited financial resources often, they want to learn how to maximize where they are putting those investments. And so we come in and help them look at that and build a plan to get there.
Wow. So when you do that with small businesses, do you have like a limit of small business, or is it like it can be also a startup small business, or it can be someone that's in the first 5 years, but do you focus more after the 5 years?
No, actually, we have had clients where they are a solo entrepreneur with a great idea, and maybe they've tried a few things and they have some results, but they don't know how to capitalize on that momentum. So we've even done strategy sessions. I actually have one scheduled for tomorrow. It's a 90-minute session with an entrepreneur on where is my time and energy best serving my business today. All the way up to one of our clients has nearly 1,000 employees globally. And so it's a wide range. I know when they say niche down, we obviously have not done that. But that's because a lot of the skills and experience that we can bring and the value that we add to our clients can be applicable in so many different contexts.
Exactly. So why niche it down when you can help the world?
Yes. Helping the world one business at a time.
One business at a time. So now, when you say that, like for use it to more as an example, do you do also coaching? Is that we will consider that more like a coaching kind of way?
Yes. And I am a professional certified coach. And that's actually how I started my business 5 years ago, was coaching. And so we do a little bit of coaching and consulting. Just this year, I started getting back into coaching a little bit more. I do have one corporate client right now that I'm coaching. And so it's a nice balance of being able to find those opportunities to help leaders just show up and be more effective. Yes, it is.
So with your services, is it just online, or do you also meet your client one-on-one, or do they have to be within the United States or anywhere in the world?
Well, the big company that we're working with right now is based out of Switzerland and Italy. They have a global footprint, right? I have clients, we have had clients in Australia and Canada. So we can have a global presence, and as long as they're okay with having online support and we're effective in the online, with the online tools and resources we have at our disposal. I do have some local clients too, where I have often said, you know what, let's schedule some time to meet in San Francisco. I'm in the Bay Area. So let's spend some time to meet in San Francisco, for example, and do a half-day offsite and really dig into this together as a group. So we're flexible and there's opportunities there, but I do have a team across the US so we can accommodate some of those time zone changes.
Well, yes, you're right. The time zone, which is the biggest one.
Yes. Yes.
So now, many small businesses and nonprofits struggle with limited resources and budget. So how do you help your client navigate these challenges and still achieve their goals?
Everybody likes to think that there's some magic number or checklist out there to make them successful, and there isn't. And so I think that's one, honestly, my superpower is to better understand where the business is today and to meet them where they're at. There are amazing tools out there. You can hear even in the online space, a lot of people talk about like Kajabi, for example, as this great all-in-one platform. But my recommendation is it's not good for everybody. If you're just getting started, it's too much, too soon. And so where are you today? Where do you want to be? And how can we help you bridge that gap with the resources you have, whether it's your time, financial resources, and potentially team members that you pull in.
So now you help both small businesses and nonprofits. Which one is your preference?
Which one's my preference? That's a great question. I have more experience with small businesses at this point, but the nonprofit work that we have been able to do, because they're mission driven, and because they're just so accepting of any support that they can get. And so I even, in all transparency to our audience today, I even have different pricing tiers to support nonprofits to be able to give them access to more than, say, a small business or even a medium-sized corporate client. I don't know. They just have a special place in my heart because I know they are so mission-driven and really are out there because they have a deeper purpose that they want to be serving the world with.
You help as much as you can.
That's a non-answer answer.
I look at it where you love to support them so that you can see their organization helping even more people than they are helping right now.
Truly do. And I think it comes back to a little bit of my coaching background, wanting to provide value and see people just step into their full potential, and to be able to see a nonprofit organization do that and be able to have a bigger impact. It's nice to know I play a little tiny piece of that story.
And earlier when you said that, you mentioned people think that there's a magic thing that, that's going to make them successful. And in my head, the whole time I'm thinking, yes, there's a magic thing. It's you. You are the magic thing they're waiting for.
I know. And everybody always says, just tell me what we need to do, Mary. And I'm like, I wish it was that easy. I wish I just had a toolkit for you and you just go do it and you'll realize all of the success in the world. And unfortunately, it's not. There's so many different factors to take into account.
Especially when it's come to business, it's way more than that than just ABC. There's a lot more into it. Like you said, meeting a client to make sure where that client should put he or her time into the business to be more successful. So it's a lot more than that. It's knowing where you are in the world right now and where you want to be. And I think that having someone like you to guide along the way is very important, because at the end of the day, we can't see what we can't see. Someone else have to show it to us.
Right. And I spend a lot of time doing research, trying to follow industry trends, and trying to help build up my library, if you will, and my knowledge base. So that way I have some answers and recommendations that we can consider when I'm working with a client. Obviously, it's their business and it's their call to make a decision, but they're looking at me to have informed opinions about where they can go next.
Exactly. And I love the fact that you said you're making research and trying to stay up to date with business who are out there. And I think that's one of the reasons why they come to you in the first place, because they don't know as much as you do. So your background, your experiences, it's important to them to help the business grow or get to the next level.
Yes. And that's one thing I want business owners to recognize as they listen to this or watch this is you don't need to know everything. Business owners, I think they try to do anything and everything. And it's not realistic for one person to carry all of that weight, right? You need to be able to lean on others to deepen that expertise so they can help you make better decisions.
Actually, I don't think any one of us were put in this world to know everything.
I hope not. That's a big burden that's a big goal to try to achieve. And
I think we will need about 1 million years to accomplish that, at least. So now, with the advancement of technology and automation has become increasingly important for businesses to stay in the market pretty much. So how do you determine what areas of a business to automate and what are the benefits?
That's a great question. Automation, even AI tools now are becoming more and more prominent. I myself am trying to play around with different ways to leverage AI even in our own business. And I would say my recommendation for how to get started with automation is try to find some of those tasks that you do regularly and do without thinking about it, without putting conscious effort into waking up today, like we don't think about it. You wake up, you fix your bed, you brush your teeth, you brush your hair, right? There's things that we naturally do now in our routines because we've done them so much now. We don't have to put thought and consideration towards it. What are those things in your business today, whether it's you or somebody on the team? And how can we take that then and automate it? Those are the tasks you want to automate. And there are plenty of tools, even free tools out there to help that process along. I say start there first and foremost. And then when that frees up some time capacity for you, where are you going to use that time and energy in your business? What are you going to think differently about? What offer are you going to consider? What's next for you?
Is that something you also help your clients with?
Yes, we love a good brainstorm session. So yes, that is something that the ideation and then trying to take an idea through to a tangible plan and execution. Oh, I love a good strategy and planning session. I'm a unique one.
Yes, you are, from childhood to adulthood. Oh my goodness. So, how can, let's say that someone wanted to work with you, how does that process work?
Well, the process, I have a typical framework and approach that we use for every client, regardless if you're doing a 90-minute session with us or not. We do kickoff and onboarding, and we have a very detailed onboarding experience you can imagine that we do with all of our clients. That way they feel like it was the right investment for them. And we like to say, like, you can show up to the first conversation. Don't feel like you have to do all of this homework behind the scenes. I know so many service providers where they're like, here's your 5 pages of homework, and we need screenshots of everything before we can even get started. And I think that's the value add that I provide my clients is you're coming to me because you're overwhelmed or there's something different you need to do in your business. And I'm not going to put more work on you in order for us to even get started. So we have them show up first to a discovery session, a kickoff session, and better understand those pain points and those challenges in a much deeper and meaningful way. Then we get on a sales call. Then through that process, we determine, okay, based on whatever the engagement looks like, here's the next steps. We guide them through. We do a lot of interviewing with them, asking questions, show me the behind the scenes and the systems you're working with. Tell me who's next on your team that I can get meaningful information about processes and challenges. And we design that path moving forward. Again, depending on the engagement and the client, it can look very different. It can look like a 2-week experience for some. It can look like a 1-year experience. We're wrapping up a 1-year engagement at the moment. So it's very tailored to them, but we have the same 4 steps in that entire experience with us that's consistent.
So pretty much you can work with a client in the short term, which can be like a week, and where you can have clients for more than a year.
Yes. And we have one client right now that we're doing a big proposal and review of their entire business. And that has a potential for a year or 2 years of different types of projects, depending on how well received the recommendations are coming out of this experience. Yeah.
So now with so many consultant and even coaching businesses out there, why will someone pick your company to work with?
I think,
other than you being smarty pants, other than you being that.
That's not about myself, but I think it is that I've been told that I'm approachable, that people feel comfort in conversations with me and feel seen. And so I think leveraging some of my HR background of being able to have a very open and safe conversation with people. And then knowing that I do have their best interest. I'm not going to recommend something just so I can get that next sale, but I'm truly going to recommend something that I think will provide the deepest amount of meaning and value to you and your business. And sometimes that's my recommendation to them is actually to take away something in their business because it's such a money leak, an energy drain, and not serving their business in the best way possible. So I think that transparency with me is good.
People first.
People first.
Yeah, you put people first. Yeah, you put people first before sales and money and anything else within your business.
Yes. And yes, we're running a business. There's money tied to it, but I'm never going to recommend something, again, just to make the next sale. I'm going to recommend it because it's the right thing to do for your business, and it's the right way for me to add value to that.
Yeah, I think that you like the fact that when you close a deal or when you're done working with the clients, they are happy and they get what they paid for, and they feel like they can come back to you anytime, not running away from you.
Yes. And I even told my team, I said, the thing that I would hate the most is for us to spend so much time and energy with a client and then to hear 6 months down the road that they're not using the tools and things that we have spent so much time with their teams to adopt. And so that's important to us. We do check in with past clients and say, how is it going? What feels good with that process? Where are we at? And what's next for you? And not to make that next sale, but I don't like to waste time, our time, their time on things if it's not going to have that impact and that value. And so let's make sure we're doing meaningful work together.
Exactly. So what are some of the common mistakes that you see small businesses make when it comes to operations and how they can avoid them?
I think one is not having kind of a hub for operations, for resources for your current team and future team members. So many small businesses hesitate with bringing on a new team member because they know how much work will go into the onboarding process, for example. And that's because, to me, that's just a signal that you don't necessarily have the defined processes or the people on the team today to trust to manage that onboarding for you. And so we start there, creating kind of an operations hub or a headquarters space where all of those resources can live and be accessed. Another thing for small businesses that I see them failing with is, the sunk cost fallacy. I've always done this process. I've always used this tool. And I just need to keep figuring out how to make this one work for me versus looking at it in an objective way and say, if I were to invest in this today, is this still the right tool for me in my business? And so many people just bear through it and deal with all of the pain, the challenges with it because they don't want to make a switch. And those are probably the two most common areas.
And I think that making the switch early on too is a lot better because as bigger you get, the harder it is to make a switch to something else. Let's say, for example, you are using Google Workspace and then Microsoft might be better for you. And you decided you don't want to switch. But when you decide to switch, it's become a lot more because now you have 100 team members. You need to switch to Microsoft, which is a lot of more work.
Yes, it is. It's a lot more work. That migration can be a lot of work, a lot of time, and honestly, probably a lot of dollars to bring in somebody from the outside in to do that work for you. And so it's being objective about your business, not holding any personal connection to past decisions you've made and recognizing, okay, where am I at today? And does this still feel like the right area for us to focus?
So what advice do you have for small business owners who are looking to optimize the processes, but unsure of where to start?
I like to say systems is actually an acronym. It's saving yourself stress, time, energy, and money. So I'm actually working on putting together a self-assessment that will be a free resource on my website that allows people to look at resources. And I say resources as in team members, processes, and systems, and assess whether it's truly saving them stress, time, energy, and money. And if not, are those pain points and challenges big enough to give some focus and attention with your team?
Same. And I think the assessment will be very helpful too. And I love the fact that you say it's free.
I know. And that will give people a better understanding of do I have an area of my business that needs some attention right now? And if I do, is this something my team can take on, or is this something that I need to look at external help to support it?
Yes. Yeah. So now, what do you think the future of operation consultant looks like? And how will technology continue to play a role in shaping the industry?
Oh, great question. I think there's a strong future in it, especially where I'm at here in the San Francisco area. There is almost daily, unfortunately, there's almost daily layoffs in the Bay Area. And I think the future of work is going to be targeted more towards supplementing skills in organizations, whether it's small mom and pop shops, medium-sized businesses. They're going to look to supplement the expertise and talent that they have in their teams with outside consultants. Is it a little pricier up front? Yes, you're going to pay more for a 3-month project with a consultant than you would with an employee. But you don't have the added overhead with a employee after that project. You have to figure out what's the ongoing role and responsibility for this person, right? There's lots connected in with having a team. And I like to think of us as an extension of that team. So if we work on one project, I see that as the start of an ongoing relationship for other things that will come up in your business. And there will be other things coming up in business over time.
Absolutely. Always.
Always. And so the role of what we do in the future of work, I just see so many more opportunities. There are more and more businesses starting every single day, especially women-led entrepreneurship. And there's a lot of opportunities to say, here, I have experience and I have background in this. My team has done this for other companies. Let us help you take your idea and turn it into something powerful.
I love the word powerful.
Powerful.
Powerful. We women love to create things that are powerful in this world. Just powerful, but doesn't hurt people, though.
Right. And we are powerful. Otherwise, I know there are some women who shy away from using power phrases like that, but we are, because you thought of an idea and you said, you know what, I can go and do this for myself. And just that decision alone there's so much power in that.
Yes.
And yet we have a lot of women, and I'm generalizing, but this is my experience from being a coach for women in the past. There's a lot of us women who try to shy away and try to blend in with the crowd. And as entrepreneurs, you can't blend in. You have to be the face of your business.
Yes.
Yeah.
So now how can someone reach out to you for your services?
I'm available. You can contact us through our website, Zargarian.org. But also, my email is mary@zargarian.org. And I answer every email I get, even if it's say thank you, but no thank you. Mary@Zargarian.org. And it's a direct line into me personally.
They can reach out to you there personally.
Yes.
I love you said,
even to say hi.
I love when you say that, thank you, but no thank you. I don't want that right now.
Thank you. And it's just, I know, it's just a nice thing to do. Otherwise, they will follow up. They're doing their job and they're doing it well. They'll follow up a few times.
Yeah.
But it's good. Just again, people-centered business, putting the people at the center of business. I like how you position that, and I'm going to steal that from you.
It's all yours.
Thank you.
So now, what's next for Zargarian Consultant? How do you plan on continuing to help small businesses and nonprofits achieve success?
We're putting together more and more collateral ourselves about those case studies, how we've delivered value and impact, and being able to then take it to the market and socialize it with other businesses. Recognizing not every business, again, we're going to get a lot of thank you, but no thank yous. However, even those no thank yous, you are now a seed of an idea in someone's mind. And so, like we mentioned before, business, undoubtedly something's going to come up where you say, okay, let's look to see how we can supplement our team and bring in expertise on this. I would love to be a seed in someone's mind at that point in time. Not to say that we will potentially be the right fit for them. However, they won't know unless we reach out. And so we're going to be doing a lot more outreach to share more about those stories, and also our industry's perspectives of where business and maybe their niche is headed, adding value even to people who aren't paying us to add value. Yeah.
I love that. And I think that value always bring back something when you provide values. When your work is crappy, if I say, and people don't get anything from it, they're not going to come back. That's just the way it is.
Right.
But if you give them value, you you undersell yourself, but you over deliver what you're supposed to give them. I think that's always bring back clients. At least that's how I always seen it. So I love your system, the way you think of it, the way you seen it, and it's not everyone that's seen it that way.
Yes, and again, just being able to connect with people and offer value, not because you're looking to get a sale out of it, but truly because you want to start a conversation. I'd love to hear other people's perspectives. And so I have an open link for people to be able to just book time and chat with me. Let's have a networking chat. I call it a coffee chat. I'm obsessed with coffee, but regardless, here we go. Regardless, I invite people to get on my calendar. Let's talk about like what you're going through, what you're seeing. And again, not for the purpose of a sale, but just so we can all stay connected and better understand this crazy world that we're in today.
Well, I do not drink coffee, but next time I think I can invite you to water TikTok.
Yes.
Water TikTok. Oh my goodness. Thank you so much, Mary.
There you go. Here, I have a water.
We'll go with the water. We'll go with the water. Yeah. Water TikTok. That's how we're going to call our conversation. Thank you so much, Mary, for the work you are doing, for supporting your small businesses, because I know a lot of people are moving away from small businesses because they're scared that the fact that a lot of small businesses, they don't make it after the 5 years, they close their doors, especially after COVID. It's been very hard for small businesses. So you continue to supporting them, giving them value and guiding them. Hey, you can still make this happen. I think that it's very valuable to them.
Well, and what a great way to look at it in 5 years from now and think, okay, this business is still here and thriving because we did some work together. I'm not saying it's because of us, but right. If I would say small businesses are very worth the time and investment to partner with them and support them. And again, from my experience, they've always been so appreciative of that level of support.
So keep doing what you are doing and then keep paving the way. And I believe that your team will get even bigger and bigger for the next few years to come. Thank you for listening to Female Founders Podcast. That's it for this week's episode. Be sure to follow us on your favorite podcast app or connect with us on womel.com so that you don't miss our next episode. See you next time. Bye for now.